Hey guys, Chapow here, back with another Paragon review video for you guys. Now in this one, I decided to do the exact opposite as I did in my last character review, which was Greystone, my least favourite character, and decided to do my favourite character in the game, Murdock. Now there are a lot of reasons why I like this character, which I'll get onto later on, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down the same way that I did with the Greystone review. So I'm going to go over his abilities, going to go over pros, cons, and then finally finish off with an overall rating and reasons why I've given him that rating. So let's just start off with his abilities. So his basic attack ability is Plasma Bolt. It's just a basic attack. He fires a shot from his gun, and that's basically it. I don't know why it's called Plasma Bolt. It's more of just a bullet rather than a beam or a bolt of plasma, as it says. So I don't know why they called it that, but obviously I have no control over it. I don't know why I would have called it, because I'm shit at making up names for things. But anyway, I don't know why it's called Plasma Bolt, but nevertheless it's just a basic attack ability, nothing special about it. His next ability is his R1 ability, which is Move Along. Now this basically generates a shield in front of you, but it doesn't protect you from any shots or anything, but once you activate it, it propels forward, and any enemy that it hits, it pushes back a few meters or a few feet. So it's very, very useful for helping you get away from things. His next ability is his square ability of Buckshot. This is a shotgun that does equal damage to every single enemy that it hits. This is very, very useful for groups of enemies especially, and I really, really like it. Next ability is Static Trap. This is like a booby trap that he puts down, and when an enemy runs through it, it will do a tiny bit of damage to them, but also reduce their speed by about, I don't know if it's about 50% or something like that of their normal walking speed for 2 seconds. So that's very good for helping you get away from an enemy. It's very, very useful. And his final ability, Devastating Bolt. This is a massive plasma beam that just travels through anything. So it'll literally go through a wall, and it can literally go any range. It has an infinite range and can go through walls, and anyone that's in its way will get damaged no matter what. It'll all be the same amount of damage, no matter if they're right next to you, miles away, through a wall, or up in the sky visiting a different planet. I don't know what that was, but basically that's it for his abilities. You know, 5 abilities, that's what you should expect, because every single character has 5 abilities. So now let's get on to his pros, and the biggest pro for me is his badass abilities. Every single one of his abilities is very, very good in certain situations. Some are just good in a multitude of situations. For example, Buckshot. It does a lot of damage to groups of enemies. So rather than, say, firing one shot at a group of 4 minions and only hitting one, if you pull out your Buckshot, you can do a big chunk of damage to every single minion in that group, and usually there's about, like, 3 to 5 minions in a group, unless you've killed most of them. So it's very, very good for taking a lot of damage off of a lot of minions. So it's very, very good for that. Also, it just does more damage than your normal shots. That's always good to do to an enemy. More damage is just always better. And then we also have Move Along. Now this is very, very good for us saying if you're trying to run away from an enemy who's chasing you, especially melee characters. It doesn't really work for range characters because they do have to be reasonably close, and range characters obviously aren't going to be getting as up close as melee characters do. So it's better for getting away from melee characters such as Grux or a Feng Mao or something like that, for instance. So it's very, very good for that. Say if you're getting low on health, you just pull that out, push them back, you can start sprinting, and then you'll more than likely get away and not get killed. So it's very, very good for that. It works a lot of the time, and it is now becoming one of my favourite abilities. I never used to use it. I only used to use the ultimate and Buckshot because I didn't really like the others, but now I've started using Move Along a lot more because it is very, very useful for getting away from enemies. Then we also have Static Trap. Now this is probably his weakest ability, but if you can use it right, it is very, very good. I haven't been able to successfully use it against an enemy yet, but I can tell because it slows enemies down that it will be very, very good. For example, say you're running through the jungle where there's narrow pathways, so you're getting chased through the jungle, you pull out your Static Trap, you throw it just in front of you, and then the enemy is going to either run through it to come and get you, but it'll slow them down so they won't get you, or they'll just have to wait and you'll get away. So it's giving you a really good chance of getting away from an enemy, because if they do go through it, they probably won't be able to get you because they're going to be slowed for a little bit. So it's very, very good for getting away from enemies once again. Now his final ability, Devastating Bolt, this is probably the coolest ability in the game, and I'm saying that right now because it's a fucking plasma beam that can travel through walls and does mad damage. It's so cool. I've got so many kills shooting through walls with this thing, or just when the enemy's just out of reach from a normal shot, I pull out my devastating bolt. As soon as they start teleporting because they stand still, I'm just gonna go boom, charge it up, destroy them, get the kill almost 100% of the time, unless they have too much health, obviously, but you know, that's just the way it is. Now this is just amazing because it goes through walls, and I've actually got one really good kill. I didn't actually save the clip, but it's probably my best kill on Paragon so far. Basically what I was doing is I was coming through the jungle from middle to right side, and Feng Mao had been weakened by an enemy, but he ran past the tower so my enemy couldn't get him. So he was really weak. He started running. So what I did is I squatted down, aimed my thing a little bit in front of him, started charging it up, shot, he ran right into it and it killed him. It was basically a shot through a wall. That's basically why it was such a good play, and I had to judge just in front of him. It was just a really awesome kill. I really wish I'd saved it, but unfortunately I didn't, because that'd be cool to show, just to show you how good Devastating Bolt is. Some could say it's rather devastating. Yeah, get it? Because Devastating Bolt, rather oh, fuck you guys, man. You don't get my humor. Anyway, let's move on to another pro, because I've gone through all of his abilities, and that was a major pro. Now the next pro is that he's a ranged character. Now I just prefer ranged characters over melee characters. I think I said that in the Greystone review. It's just they take so much less damage because you're not getting hit by melee characters if you're stood a little bit further away from them. Yeah, if you're a melee character, you have to get right up to them and take damage from everything that's around you. Just basically not giving a shit what's around you and just hitting and swinging for the best. And you know, it don't really help you stay alive. Like I feel as if when I'm a melee character, I have to teleport back a lot more than I do if I'm a ranged character. Just because, say, when you're attacking minions, for instance, you have to be up close attacking them whilst you're being attacked yourself. So you're taking damage from them whilst giving damage to them. But if you're a ranged character and you move slowly back just while shooting, they won't be able to hit you because most of them are melee, and you can just walk back slowly, shoot them a bit, weaken them, and kill them just whilst walking slowly backwards and not take any damage. Now the final pro is that he has a really cool master skin. Now I don't really understand how Charlie doesn't like this. Charlie hates this master skin. He really doesn't like it, but he really likes the Chimera master skin, which I really don't like. So it's kind of exact opposites, and also he prefers melee characters, I prefer ranged characters. Chimera's his favourite character, Murdock's my favourite character, so it could be a bit biasing, as though there are those two that are our favourite characters also have our favourite master skin, so that could be a little bit biased, but between you and me, Murdock's master skin is the best. No doubt it's better than Chimera's, he's just chatting shit. Now, there are a few cons, but none of these are really huge things that would make you think, oh, he's not going to be a good character. Basically, the first con is that his ultimate is quite easy to avoid. Now, this kind of has to be because it can shoot through walls and has infinite range, so it does need to be, you know, it does need to have a little bit of a negative, and the fact that it is easy to avoid, you can just jump once to the side, it's very easy to get away from if you know when someone's using it. But it can be difficult when the person's through a wall and you can't see them and you're trying to run away and then they shoot you. It obviously can be a bit difficult to avoid, but if you see a Murdock ever like crouch down and about to fire it, if you move slightly to the left or to the right, he won't be able to hit you, and that's basically the way that you avoid it. Not many people avoid it. That's why when I use it, I usually wait until the person has just run away and is teleporting back so they can't move, and then aim directly on them, shoot them, and they can't usually get away. It's very good. Now, the next con is that his buyable, challenger, and original skins are all quite rubbish. These are probably... They are actually, to be fair, some of my least favourite skins on the game. I don't like them. I find them to be awful. They're just not cool. They're very bland is what I'm basically trying to say. His original skin is basically a bluey silver kind of armour. Nothing to it, nothing special. His challenger skin is basically the exact same but yellow. And then his buyable skin is just... It's called Snakebite, but I don't know what they were trying to go for. It's kind of an off-white kind of thing. It's not very cool or anything. And also the next con, which is linking in with this, he has the most expensive buyable skin. I don't like this because it's not even a good skin. It costs 1,000 coins, whereas all of the others cost 500. So he has the most expensive buyable skin, and it's probably one of the worst buyable skins. So I really don't understand that. It's not good. I don't know why anyone would waste that many coins on it, unless they were just buying all the master skins or just wanted every single skin on the Murdock character. Otherwise, you know, I'm just never gonna buy it. I don't really rate it. I don't really like it at all. But that's it for the pros and cons, guys. As I'm gonna keep on saying, you can't really have as many pros and cons as you can in the entire game as you can on a character, because obviously it's not as in-depth as the entire game. But basically, I'm going to give Murdock an overall rating of 9 out of 10. I did say he was my favourite character, so that is obviously why he has got such a high rating. I just like everything about him. All of his abilities are awesome, you know. He's got really cool master skin, but the other ones are quite boring. I mean, he probably wouldn't have got a perfect 10 out of 10 if the other ones were good. But it's just the fact that, like, you know, I'm not really going to give anything a 10 out of 10, like, ever. I just don't understand how you could give something a perfect score, because nothing is perfect, because there's always going to be one little thing that you have to do in the game to make it a bit balanced, if you understand what I mean. So until something comes out that's basically God mod, that's basically, like, it's never going to get a 10 out of 10 from me. Now, basically, he's got really good abilities, that's all I'm saying, and like Buckshot especially, it just does a lot of damage to entire groups. It helps so much for killing minions, and it's just really, really good, because killing minions, as I said, is one of the biggest parts of the game. So your minions can then push up to the towers and take the sniper shots for you, so you're not dying. So he's just a really, really good character. If you haven't pardon me, if you haven't tried him out, then definitely try him out. He's really, really good. He's really, really well rounded on all of his abilities. All of his abilities are very, 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 very useful, as I believe I've made clear, because I've stressed it enough. Anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed that video, then please press that like button and that subscribe button, and go do the same to the rest of the Chapow crew. Their names will be in the description down below. Also, go check out ExoGenerzon and Phantom. Their names will also be in that description down below. And I'll see you guys next time. And good.